I still remember that night like it happened yesterday, the night my life split in two. I was supposed to be on call at the hospital until morning. Being a cardiologist in Boston had taken over most of my life for years. But that evening, a coworker offered to cover my shift, and I said yes right away. I finally had a chance to do something simple and nice for my husband, Thomas. I stopped at a small wine shop near our apartment and bought a bottle of Cabernet, his favorite. Then I grabbed a box of dark chocolates from the little shop down the block. My heels made soft clicks on the sidewalk as I rushed home, feeling excited, like a young girl getting ready to see her high school crush. In the elevator, I took off my shoes so he wouldn't hear me. I pictured myself wrapping my arms around him and whispering, "I'm yours for the night. No surgeries, no pager, no interruptions." I unlocked the front door quietly and smiled when I saw his car keys on the table. Then I stopped cold. A woman's laugh floated from the bedroom, soft, intimate. Then his voice came, lower than usual, almost a growl. "You're incredible, Diana." My stomach twisted. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. For a moment, I thought maybe it was just the TV. But then I heard the sound of sheets shifting, and a soft moan that wasn't mine. My hands shook as I held the wine bag tighter. The bottle knocked against the box of chocolates. I wanted to leave quietly, like I was never there. But I couldn't move. My feet felt glued to the floor. There were shoes in the hallway. Not mine. Bright red heels, a little dirty from the street, tossed near the closet. I smelled perfume. Heavy, musky, strong. The kind I would never wear. My heart pounded as I looked at the half-open bedroom door and saw shadows moving behind it. "I thought your wife would be home," the woman said. "She's on call till morning." "Saving hearts somewhere," Thomas answered, sounding cocky. I slammed the front door. The noise echoed through the apartment, cutting off their little moment. I heard scrambling, whispers. Then Thomas came out, buttoning his shirt. He looked shocked for a second, maybe guilty, but then his face changed into that confident look I knew too well. "This isn't what it looks like, Julia." My voice sounded strange, almost like metal. "Really?" "Because it looks exactly like what I think it is." The woman walked out of the bedroom. Tall, blonde, stunning, but cold. She was wearing my silk robe, the one Thomas gave me for my birthday last year. She smiled a little. "Diana," she said, like we were just meeting over coffee. "Didn't expect to meet you like this. Life's full of surprises." "You're wearing my robe," I whispered. "Oh, I didn't know." Thomas offered it. "But if it bothers you," she started to untie the belt. "Enough, Diana," Thomas said sharply. He sounded nervous now. "Let's talk. This is just a misunderstanding." "A misunderstanding?" I said. "You were sleeping with her. In our bed." "Don't be vulgar," he snapped. "You're a doctor. You're supposed to be classy." Something inside me broke. I threw the wine and chocolates at the wall. The bottle shattered. Red wine stained the white wall like blood. Diana flinched. Thomas stepped back. "You're pathetic," he muttered, then shouted, "You think you can just walk out and take Ryan with you? He's staying with me." I glared at him. "Ryan was never your son, Thomas. Not in your heart." That was it. I walked out barefoot, tears running down my face, thinking only one thing. I need to get my boy and leave this toxic place forever. I didn't sleep that night. I sat on the edge of the bed in my friend Vicky's apartment, holding a cup of tea that had gone cold and bitter. Ryan was curled up on the couch, holding his stuffed fox like it was the only safe thing left. I watched him breathe and thought, this is it. We're done with Boston. We're done with Thomas. We're done living like strangers in our own home. In the morning, I called a lawyer. The divorce would take time. Thomas would fight. It's who he is. But there was one thing he couldn't stop. My right to leave. Where will you go? Vicky asked softly as she poured more tea. Anywhere that isn't here, I said. My own voice surprised me. I want quiet. I want space for Ryan to breathe. And I needed to heal before I drowned in this city. That afternoon, while Ryan napped, I opened my laptop and started searching for houses. I didn't know exactly what I was looking for, but something pulled me toward Vermont. I had only been there once years ago, but it stayed in my mind like a painting. Green mountains, winding rivers, towns that felt like they were frozen in time. One house caught my eye. An old farmhouse in a small town in the Green Mountains. 2 stories. A porch that wrapped all the way around. Apple trees in the yard. The price seemed low, maybe too low. But something about it made me pause. This could be it. Our new start. When I called, a kind but shaky voice answered. Walter Finch speaking. He was the owner. He explained that he was an old man, living alone, and had been diagnosed with late-stage lung cancer. He wanted to sell the house but stay until the end. It's the only home I have left, he said, his voice cracking. I understand, I told him. And I truly did. 2 days later, Ryan and I packed everything we could into my old SUV. He sat in the back with his fox and a notebook he had started drawing in. Are we going on vacation, Mom? He asked. No, I said, smiling at him in the mirror. We're going somewhere better. Somewhere we can call home. The drive was long, but with every mile we left behind, something in me felt lighter. The Boston skyline faded, then disappeared, replaced by hills and fields and barns. Ryan stared out the window like he was watching a whole new world. Look, Mom. A covered bridge, he said as we entered Vermont. It looks like something from a storybook. Maybe it is a storybook, I whispered, gripping the wheel, feeling the old life fall away. We arrived in the late afternoon. The farmhouse looked just like the pictures, old but proud, with white paint faded by time and a porch swing that creaked in the wind. Walter Finch was waiting for us on the porch. He was tall but slightly hunched, with neatly combed white hair and simple, clean clothes. Even with his illness, there was something strong in the way he stood that made me stop and take notice. You must be Dr. Summers, he said, reaching out his hand. His grip was strong. And this must be young Ryan. Welcome to Finch House. Ryan smiled shyly and held on to my leg. He whispered, he looks like Grandpa from my book. I smiled at Walter. Thank you for having us. In that moment, I had a feeling this place might be where everything changed. The house made soft noises, like it was breathing. Each creak carried years of memories that didn't belong to me yet. When Walter opened the front door, a wave of scent washed over us. Old wood, dried herbs, and something sweet, like apples baked a long time ago. Ryan stepped inside slowly, his sneakers squeaking on the wooden floor. Wow, he whispered, looking up at the high ceiling beams. It's like a museum, Mom. Walter chuckled. It's not a museum, but it's been in my family since 1889. My great-grandfather built it. Every scratch and nail tells a story. I followed him through the house. The living room had built-in shelves full of books, leather-bound, with gold titles that shone in the light. In one corner was a big antique globe, worn smooth from years of use. In the kitchen, a cast-iron stove sat like a centerpiece. The air smelled faintly of wood polish. Upstairs, Walter showed me a small room that looked out over the orchard. This can be Ryan's, he said. Ryan ran to the window and looked out at the apple trees, their branches heavy with late autumn fruit. I love it, he said. That surprised me. Ryan usually didn't warm up to new places so quickly. But something about this house, or maybe about Walter, was making him feel safe. After the tour, we sat on the porch in a pair of wooden chairs that rocked in the breeze. Walter moved slowly but with care, still graceful in a quiet way. I'll be honest with you, Dr. Summers, Julia, he said with a smile. When I listed this place for sale, I didn't expect someone like you to come along. I thought a developer would buy it, maybe turn it into rental cabins, or worse, bulldoze it for a gas station. But you came with a kid and eyes that look like they've seen too much for one lifetime. I sat down beside him. I needed a change. Boston got too loud, too painful. He nodded like he understood, even though I hadn't said much. Pain sticks to cities, he said. Out here, it's quieter. Gives your heart room to heal. Ryan had wandered off into the orchard, his little fox toy in his pocket, walking from tree to tree like a tiny scientist. Walter leaned toward me. He'll like it here. Kids need space to breathe, to run, to just be kids. For the first time in weeks, something inside me relaxed. Thank you for letting us stay, Walter. I know it's unusual, buying a home but letting the owner stay in it. I don't mind, he said. Honestly, I think we need each other. His eyes softened. We do, he added quietly. I don't have anyone left. My son died 10 years ago. My wife, even earlier. And now, well, the doctors say I don't have much time left. But don't worry. I'm not the type to go kicking and screaming. I just didn't want this house to die with me. His words hung in the air. I wanted to tell him I was a cardiologist, that I knew how to deal with serious illness. But instead, I reached out and gently placed my hand on the arm of his chair. Then let's keep it alive together, I said. He smiled. For a moment, I could see the man he used to be, strong, proud, deeply rooted. That evening, I made dinner in the kitchen while Ryan explored the yard. Walter sat at the table reading aloud from one of his old books about Vermont's history. His voice was warm, filling the room, and I realized I hadn't felt this kind of peace in years.